Hello everyone, welcome to lab number 10.4.1.1 in Packet Tracer Skills Integration Challenge. So let's open up the lab 10.4.1.1. 4 and 1.1. Okay, we have our Packet Tracer file. So let's open up. Okay, so what we have, cancel that. Okay, how did it go there? This is our diagram topology screen, and we also have our instruction screen right here. Let's open up both, and here we are. Okay, this lab is a very comprehensive, inclusive one. Probably there are so many things that we have to do, so many skills we are going to integrate together. So let's start reading the instruction. Here we see an addressing table. Addressing table shows HQ. Let's see what is HQ. Looks like a router because I have all the sub interfaces. Gigabit 00, .15, .30, .45, .60. These are all sub interfaces from Gigabit 00 interface. They have their IP addresses, subnet masks, and HQ router also has other interfaces other than Gigabit 00. Has the serial 000, serial 001, serial 010. So these three serial interfaces have IP addresses, subnet masks, and again Gigabit 00 has 1, 2, 3, 4 sub interfaces. Then we have B1, looks like another router, B1 right here, and so I have HQ right here, B1 right here. Okay, and let's see, B2 is also another router. Here's the B2 router. It has also all the interfaces and IP addresses and subnet masks. HQ switch right here, that's our HQ switch. Okay, and staff is, that's a computer, DHCP assigned. Okay, staff, so staff, its IP address will be DHCP assigned. Okay, automatically assigned. Okay, look at our next table, VLANs and port assignments table. So in this table we are seeing that we have to create several VLANs, 15, 30, 45 and 60. They have their names. Port assignments, these are the ports assigned to each of the VLANs and which networks address space is assigned to them. We have that as well. Okay, so let's move on. Scenario. This culminating activity includes many of the skills that you have acquired during this course. First, you will complete the documentation for the network. So make sure you have a printed version of the instruction. During implementation, you will configure VLANs, trunking, port security, and SSH remote access on a switch. Then you will implement inter-VLAN routing, DHCP, RIP, default routing, and NAT on a router. Finally, you will use your documentation to verify your implementation by testing end-to-end connectivity. Okay, so if we want to document, if you want to get a printout of it, that will be a good thing to do right here. Skills integration instructions. You click on this instruction file, that's going to be in PDF, and let me see if we are able to click and write something. No, so we cannot click, we cannot write on it, so that's not a good thing. So all you can do then, print out manual paper and then write down for documentation. We are not going to do that. I'm not asking you to do that, so no need for this. Let's just follow the instruction and do the lab. That's it, in Packet Tracer. Okay, so here we have documentation. You are required to fully document the network. You will need a printout of this instruction set, which will include an unlabeled topology diagram. Okay, label all the device names, network addresses, and other important. I'm not doing the documentation. Okay, fill in the blanks. If you like to, once I do all the activities, then you will know how to do this lab. You can document if you want to by yourself. That's easier once you know how to do the lab. So let me teach you, show you how to do the lab. Okay, implementation. Note, all devices in the topology except HQ, HQ switch and staff are fully configured. So everything is fully configured here, except what we need to configure is HQ, this router, HQ switch, and this is staff, that computer. So only these three are the ones that we need to configure. Okay. By the way, if you open up the lab and you see that your lab shows different name, different IP addresses and so on, it should be similar. You could just follow my instruction and do the lab the same way you have to do. The IP address may be different in yours, and the names HQ could be something else, some other name may show up. So you can learn from me and then do it in your own way. Number one option. Another option you have, what you have to do is just close your lab and open your lab again, and close your lab and open again. Keep on doing this until you find the same exact thing that I have. Then you can follow me and do that. You can do that also. Okay, so this is another way to do it. If you see, again I'm repeating, if you see that your router has a different name, your router has a different IP address, different range of IP address, so what you can do, if you want to, you can do this, that close your lab, open it again, and you keep on doing it until you have, once you're going to see the same thing as mine, then you do the lab, if that's easier for you. Okay, now implement the following requirements using your documentation. Okay, I am going to start from right here. HQ switch, what I have to do, configure remote management access including IP addressing and SSH. So we have to do IP addressing. Configure remote management access. What it means, meaning that this HQ switch, you are not going to be physically located in here. You will be far away to another place. From there, you will be accessing the switch via remotely via SSH, okay, secured shell, via the VTY line, virtual teletype, instead of console. So therefore, the switch has to have an IP address, and we need to configure the SSH. We need to activate the VTY line for the remote access. We'll be asked to do those things pretty soon. Okay, so first thing they're asking us to do, that of course we have to have an IP address, otherwise how can we access it remotely? So let's do that IP address and then do the SSH. But look at the IP address, HQ switch. In there we have the HQ switch says the IP address will be assigned on VLAN 60. On VLAN 60, and here is the IP address 10.10.10.146. Here is the subnet mask. Okay, I'll do that. Let's go to the switch and see whether switch has the VLAN 60 already there or not. Okay, because I need to assign the IP address on VLAN 60. So I'm in the switch. I'm going to go to the privileged exec mode, enable. I'm in the privileged exec mode. I'm going to type show VLAN brief. Show VLAN brief. And what do I see here? I see VLAN 1, and these are all ports. All the ports are assigned to VLAN 1. I do not see any VLAN 60. I have VLAN 1002 and VLAN, those are all automatically created reserved VLANs. So I have 1002 to 5 and 1. VLAN 60 or VLAN 15, all these VLANs here that shows have not been created. I'm going to go ahead and create the management VLAN, VLAN 60, because I need to assign the IP address on the VLAN 60. Okay, here it shows. Therefore, I'm going to create the VLAN 60 right now and then assign the IP address on that VLAN, because that's going to be the management VLAN, and I need that for remote access. So I'm going to go to the config T, configure terminal, and now VLAN 60. VLAN 60 has been created. What is its name? I can see the name of the VLAN is management, okay, with capital M. So these are all case sensitive. So I'm going to type name, M-E-N-T, management, M-A-G-A-N-E, M-A-N-A-G, okay, yeah, management, correct, okay, enter. So I created the VLAN, and I can see the completion. I have 1 point right now, 1/70. Good, I got 1 point. Now let me create that, let me assign the IP address on that VLAN. So I'm going to type, go exit from there. I'm in the global config mode again. I'm going to now type interface VLAN 60. That VLAN 60 interface is there now. Enter. Okay. And I'm going to assign the IP address. What is the IP address? 10.10.10.146. Okay. 10.10.10.146. And what is the subnet mask? 255.255.255.240. I'm going to go ahead and copy this one. Easy. Okay, Control C, and then I click on here and paste. Click on paste. Okay. So that's how I create IP address. IP address is done. Now, switch also has a default gateway. I have to create the default gateway also if I want to remotely access this from a different subnet. So 10.10.10.145. Okay. So I'm going to create the default gateway, but default gateway we do not assign on the interface. We assign the default gateway in the global config mode. So it looks like the VLAN 60 already changed the state to up. Okay. So I don't really have to do the no shutdown. I can do the no shutdown anyway. If I do that, that doesn't hurt. No shutdown. And then I'm going to exit out of the interface. I'm in the global config mode. So I'm going to assign the default gateway. I'm going to type IP, just DEF tab, IP default gateway, and the default gateway IP address I pasted 10.10.10.145 right here. That's the one. Okay. So enter. So I assigned the default gateway also. At this time I have 5 points. Okay. So I did the IP addressing, and now I have to do SSH, secured shell. Now, to configure SSH, there are several steps. That starts with creating a domain name. Okay, let's create the domain name. Global config mode. I'm going to type IP DOMAIN domain -n tab domain name. Should be cisco.com, all small, CISCO.com. Okay, got the domain name. And then username, I'm going to create a user admin, and the password let me in. Okay, all let me in, all in small. Username admin A capital, because in the packet tracer things are all case sensitive. So username would be admin, USER tab username admin, capital ADMIN, and then password PAS tab. Password should be let me in, LETMEIN, let me in. Okay, done that. Then crypto key length of 1024. Okay, so I need to generate for the SSH. I need to do create the encryption key, and I have to use this command crypto, CRY tab. I just type K tab crypto key generate G tab RSA, enter. That's my command. My command was crypto key generate RSA. That's the command. So I pressed enter. Now it says how many bit key do you want, how many bits. So it told us 1024 bit key. So don't press enter, type 1024 and then enter. Okay, now we created 1024 bit key. Now we need to set SSH version 2, and then limited to 2 authentication attempts and a 60-second timeout. So let's do version 2 first. So I type version VER tab. I'm going to do IP SSH, and then VER version 2, IP SSH version 2. That part is done. Now I have to do uh, limit this. When somebody is trying to log in, I want to limit that person's attempt to only two attempts. Okay, after that it will be locked out. And also 60 seconds timeout. So if this person would try to attempt to log in twice with the wrong password, then he will be blocked at that point. Okay, and 60 seconds timeout. It will be timed out for 60 seconds. Okay, so after 2 attempts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to type IP SSH. Now authentication, AUT, authentication retries. Just I press tab, IP SSH authentication retries. How many retries? 2. Okay, and then I'm going to also configure the timeout. IP SSH exits, type exe. Let's see, IP SSH, do the question mark. Oh, there's a timeout command right there. So IP SSH timeout, just TI tab timeout, and timeout should be in seconds. Okay, so I'm going to type 60. Good, that is done. So far I'm done up to this much. 60 seconds timeout has been also configured. Clear text passwords should be encrypted. So I'm going to do that in the global config mode also. To do that, I need to use the command service, serv tab, and service in password encryption. I type PAS tab password encryption. Enter. Now I have 14 points so far. Okay, so all the passwords that are in the clear text, they will be encrypted with this command, service password encryption. Next, configure, name, and assign VLANs. Ports should be manually configured as access ports. Okay, I'm going to create and name the VLANs, and I'm going to assign the correct range of ports to the right VLANs, and configure those ports as access ports. So let's look at our table right here. I need to create VLAN 15, 30, 45. I already created a VLAN 60. So let's do that. VLAN 15, 30, and 45, and assign these ports, port number 11 to 20, and all those as the table shows. So I'm going to type VLAN, VLAN, VLAN 15. Name would be servers with capital S, SERVERS, servers. Okay, then another one, VLAN 30. Name PCs, PC capital S. Okay, PCs. Then native 45, VLAN 45, and then name natives, name native. Okay, so VLANs and names are created now. Now I need to assign these ports. I'm going to go select the port number F11 to 20 and configure them to access for access of the VLAN 15. So I'm going to exit out of the VLAN mode and then go to the interface mode. Interface range F11 F011 to 20. Okay, range is selected. I'm going to set this Swiss port mode to be access. So I'm going to type SWI tab Swiss port, just M tab mode access, ACC tab. So these Swiss ports will be in the access mode, meaning only one VLAN will be allowed through these ports. And then I'm gonna assign the correct VLAN for these ports. So I'm going to type again Swiss port access VLAN 15. These are for VLAN 15. Okay, done that. Now I'm going to be exiting out of here. Next range would be fast Ethernet 1 to 10. Okay, let's do that. Fast Ethernet 1 to 10. So interface range fast Ethernet 0/1 10. Swiss port mode access, and then Swiss port access VLAN. This one should be VLAN 30. And then native VLAN gigabit 01. Gigabit 01, so native VLAN, this appears to be for a trunk port, because this VLAN native I have to assign on a trunk port, so the trunk port will not tag this particular VLAN. VLAN 45 is going to be untagged VLAN. And other VLANs, when all these VLANs pass through a trunk port, all those other VLANs traffics will be tagged by their VLAN name, except the native. And gigabit 01. Also, if you look at the gigabit 01, all other ports right here, they are all access ports, different VLANs are there. But this one port that goes out from the switch to the router, it must be the gigabit 01. If I click on here, put the mouse on here, I cannot read. The label is not cannot be read properly. So I'm going to do this. Click on this label icon and put here. It shows that, yeah, gigabit 01. Gigabit 01 is the one Swiss port that is that should be a trunk port that is connected to the router. All the VLANs should pass through this gigabit 01. So let's go for the gigabit 01. I go here. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of this range. Okay, and I'm going to type interface gigabit Ethernet 0/1. That one. That should be Swiss port mode trunk instead of access. Swiss port mode trunk. And then I'm going to type Swiss port trunk native VLAN should be 45. So the Swiss port, again, this trunk port will allow all the VLANs to pass through, and they will tag all the VLANs. But the VLAN 45, the traffic coming from VLAN 45 will not be tagged, will be untagged. Enter. Okay. Now, next. Configure name as VLAN's ports should be manually configured as access ports. I done that. Configure trunking. I just done that too. I have just done that. Okay. Implemented port security. So port security, I'm going to do that also. On F01, allow 2 MAC addresses that are automatically added to the configuration file when detected. The port should not be disabled, but a syslog message should be captured if a violation occurs. Okay, disable all other unused ports. Okay, I'll explain to you what they're telling us to do. One particular port number 1, I need to configure it so that it will allow only 2 MAC addresses, not more than that. Meaning only 2 computers can be plugged in. You plug in the first computer, for some reason you unplug that one, a different computer if you plug in, then so far you plugged in 2 computers to that port. So what's going to happen, the switch will automatically record those MAC addresses of those 2 PCs, the first 2 PCs that you ever plug into them, to that port. It's going to memorize that MAC address and keep it in the memory. Okay, keep it recorded, so that then next time somebody else try to plug in any other computer on that port, switch will deny them. This you do that for the security. So only your own computer's 2 MAC addresses uses first time you plug in, and that's it. Switch will keep them in the memory, and switch will not allow any other MAC address. Now, if somebody try to plug in another computer with a different MAC address, say an intruder came in with his own laptop and plugged in my switch on that port. He unplugged my computer and plugged in his computer in there. So what's going to happen in that case, if a violation occurs, then a syslog message, the port will not be disabled, but a syslog message should be captured immediately. The switch is going to send a message. First of all, this person will not be able to access the network. Okay, when I set this kind of settings, this person will not be able to access the network. Switch will not allow, because it's a switch will allow only 2 MAC addresses. So this guy brought a different computer, that's a different MAC address. It will not be allowed, first of all. Second of all, it will send a syslog message to my logging server, where it's going to give a warning that, hey, a violation has occurred. So let's do that. So here I am. Right now I am in this gigabit 01. I'm going to exit out of there. Now I need to choose interface, fast Ethernet 0/1, that port. Okay, and I'm going to enable first the switch port security. If I do not use that command, switch port security, then port security will not be enabled. So type switch port and then port security, PO tab port security. That's the first command I need to use. This command again will enable all the security feature to begin with. Okay, I've done that. Then what they're asking is only 2 MAC addresses will be maximum allowed, and they will be learned dynamically, automatically when detected. Okay, I'll do that. So first I'm going to put the maximum 2 allowed. I'm gonna set it to allow only 2 maximum. So switch port security maximum should be 2. Okay, so only 2 will be allowed. Then I would also like to configure it that, okay, the first 2 computers plugged in learn their MAC address and keep that in your memory in the switch. So I'll do that. That's called sticky. Switch port security, MAC address, then sticky, STI. Oopsie, sticky. That's the command. Switch port security, MAC address, sticky. Okay, and enter. Then I'm gonna also configure this, that if a violation occurs, what to do. Send me a log message. So I'm gonna type switch port security, and then violation should be, there are 3 options: detect, restrict, and disable. So in this case I'm going to choose restrict. With the restrict option, it will send me a log message and the port will not be disabled. Violation, I'm going to type restrict, R restrict, enter. Okay, done that. Now disable all other unused ports. So far let's see what ports are unused. I have here port number 1 to 10, then I have 11 to 20, so that left only 4 ports. 21 to 24, those ports those ports have not been used, they're unused. And I have gigabit 01 here, and gigabit 02 has not been used. So fast Ethernet 21 to 24 and gigabit 02, those are the unused ports. So I'm going to type exit out of there first, and interface range fast Ethernet 0/21 to 24, comma gigabit 0/2. These are the unused ports. Enter. That range is selected. I'm going to shut them down. Shut down, enter. Okay, done. Exit. Back to global config mode. Okay, now what? Disable all other unused ports. Okay, configure the VTY lines to be accessible via SSH only. Okay, so I'm going to go to the VTY lines. There's a virtual teletype, there's a remote access lines. Remember the console line, then VTY line, and I'm going to configure that VTY line to accept SSH only. Okay, and of course I'm going to say that use these passwords, admin and password let me in. That's by using the command login local, meaning use the locally created username and password. Okay, that's what I'm going to say to it. So I'm in the global config mode. I'm going to go to the line VTY 0 to 15, enter, and I'm going to type login local. Did that, and make sure that only SSH is allowed. Transport input SSH. Okay, so that should do it. Okay, now so that takes care of the HQ switch. Okay, looks like that should be it. Okay, now I'm going to go to the router HQ, configure inter VLAN routing. So if we go to the router right here, HQ, I need to configure their inter VLAN routing. How do I do inter VLAN routing? Inter VLAN routing is routing between the VLANs. That's when I do it by creating these sub interfaces. On the gigabit 00 interface, I'm going to create sub interfaces .15, 30 to 45, 60, and I'm going to assign these IP addresses, and I'm going to set their encapsulation as .1Q for trunking. I'm going to do that. So let's go to the HQ. That's my router. Okay, enable config T. Okay, I'm in the global config mode. So I need to start creating the gigabit 00.15 sub interface. I'm going to type interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0.15. Okay, I'm in the sub interface. Encapsulation type ENC tab D tab, like .1Q, and which VLAN should I assign this to? 15, VLAN 15 right here. All these 15, 30, 45, those are the VLAN names. So I'm gonna, corresponding to it, I'm creating the sub interfaces to make sense with the same name. So this one is for VLAN 15. So and 15, enter. Done it. Okay, now IP address. IP address should be 10.10.10.161. Okay, 10.10.10.161. And what is the subnet mask? This 255, 255, 255, 224. Okay, I can copy paste. I can write here, click on paste. Okay, enter. So that is how many things I have to do. I go to the interface, set the encapsulation, and then assign the IP address. Done with one sub interface. Then I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to exit out of there, and then interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0.30 and encapsulation .1Q VLAN 30 on this one, and IP address. IP address would be in this case 10.10.10.193, 10.10.10.193. Subnet mask is 192. Okay, so 255, oopsie, right here, 255.255.255.192, and exit out of there. Then interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0.45. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my keyboard's up arrow keys. Would be easier. Up arrow, up arrow, okay. Now encapsulation, this one everything's same but 45 instead of 30, VLAN 45. And oh, this one though, in this particular case I need to do is a native VLAN. So when 45 is native VLAN, I got to type here encapsulation as native. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna type no encapsulation dot 1q 45. I negated that line and I'm gonna type the line again. Encapsulation dot 1q 45 and the native in that. Only for this 45 I'm going to actually type this command, encapsulation dot 1q 45 native. I need to add the word native, enter. Okay, and then IP address, I'm gonna go IP address line, up arrow key, okay. 45 would be 129 and 240. 240 would be my subnet mask. So 240 subnet mask. So change it to 240. 240. And then keep on going with the left arrow key. 193. That one should be 129 for the 45. Yeah, 129. So that's my IP address. 10.10.10 129 and subnet mask is 240. Okay, enter. Now the next one, exit out. Okay, next one is VLAN 60. So sub interface 60. Interface gigabit Ethernet 0.0/0.60. 10.10.10 145. Encapsulation type would be .1q and VLAN 60. And IP address would be 10.10.10.10.10.60 would be 145. 145 and the subnet mask is 240 also. 255.255.255.240. Okay, that. So now I have 47 points so far. Okay, so having created all these sub interfaces, now I need to do no shutdown. After the IP address we do no shutdown, but remember, when we do sub interfaces we assign the IP addresses on the sub interfaces, but we have to do no shutdown on the main interface, on the gigabit 00, not on the .15 or .30 or anything like that, just gigabit 00. So I'm going to exit out of there and type interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0 and type no shutdown, enter. As I did no shutdown on the main interface, all the sub interfaces 15, 30, all of them became up and running. Okay, now so that takes care of my inter VLAN routing between all the VLANs, the first step. Next would be configure DHCP services for VLAN 30. Use LAN as the case sensitive name for the pool. Okay, so what we have to do, we're going to now configure DHCP services on this router. We're going to create that for the VLAN 30. What is the VLAN 30? VLAN 30, its address space, all the PCs will be connected to this VLAN and all those PCs will get their IP addresses from DHCP automatically assigned. So I'm going to create a pool and say that this is the address network address 10.10.10.192 with a 26-bit mask. So from this network address, how many addresses, how many hosts will be possible, those will be assigned to these PCs. Okay, so I'm going to create DHCP and I'm going to create a pool of the addresses. I'm going to name that pool LAN, is in capital letter, right, written in capital. Okay, so let's see, Let's do that. So I'm here, I'm gonna exit out of there from the interface mode. I'm in the back in the global config mode. I'm gonna type IP DHCP pool, POOL, and the name of the pool should be LAN, LAN, capital LAN. Okay, enter. So I created the pool. What network should network address range should it have? So I'm going to type network, and address range would be right here, VLAN 30. It has 10, 10, 10, 192. That's the address. That's the network. So 10, 10, 10, 192. That, and the subnet mask is 26 bit. So VLAN 30. I can even see right from here, VLAN 30, the subnet mask is 192. That's the subnet mask for this one. So 26-bit mask is this 192. Okay. Enter. So I added the network. Also, the default router. What is the default gateway for this .30? For this 30, that VLAN. Well, 30 VLANs default right here. .30 is for the 30 VLAN 30, and its router's IP address is this 193. That is the default gateway for those computers. So I need to use that information also. This is going to be the default gateway. That information will be given to the PCs automatically also. So I'm going to write here, while I'm doing the DHCP, I'm going to write here default router would be that 193, that one. Okay, that's going to be the default gateway. So looks like I created the pool for the DHCP. Okay, so DHCP services for VLAN 30. Okay, from that network range I did. Okay, good. Now implement routing. Now they want us to do next step, routing. So this router will be talking to other routers and create the routing table thereby. Okay, or update their routing table or add routing table entries. Exit from there. Now let's do that. So we're going to be using RIP protocol version 2 RIP protocol. So I'm going to type router RIP. Okay, good. So go ahead and do that, router RIP. So I'm in the RIP configuration mode. I'm going to type version 2, VER tab 2, enter. So version 2 has been enabled. Disable automatic summarization. So I'm going to use no auto summary. No auto summary, so that all my network that I'm going to add in the RIP, if I add more than one network, if they are from similar range and they are subnetted, they will not be summarized into one network automatically. They will be all kept into their proper classless interdomain routing CIDR subnet masking, as opposed to summarizing them to the class full. So it's going to be no auto summary. Just use that command. Now configure one network statement for the entire 10.10.10.0/8 address space. Okay. So for that, I'm going to create, just add this network. NET network would be 10.10.10 10.10.10 dot, oh sorry, 10.0, not 10.10.10.10, 10.0.0.0, all the zeros, and 8-bit address space, question mark. Okay, so in this I did not need the subnet mask, just press enter. Okay, now done that. Then configure a default route to the internet. Okay, so RIP protocol is going to say that this network is with me. The RIP is going to share that information with other routers. Now I am asked to configure a default route to the internet. Okay, so I'm going to be exiting the RIP mode. Okay, And now I need to create a manual static route to the internet. Let's see how do I do that. Here is my router HQ. Which side is the internet? This is intranet. This is intranet. My own company is intranet. And this is the internet right here. So which interface is that? Serial which one? So click on the white and then put your mouse here. Put your mouse here, and it doesn't say properly serial what interface. I cannot read it properly. So I'm going to click on the label and press here. So I see S010. So serial 010. That interface takes me this way to the internet. So serial 010, that interface will be my exit interface to go out to the internet. That means from all this traffic from this router, B to this other router, all this everything, all the traffic from everywhere need to go to the internet. They need to go through this exit out this way, serial 010 interface. Okay, so let me create a default route. So here I am in the global config mode. I'm going to type IP route. A default route is created with a 0000 network and 0000 subnet mask. 0.0.0.0 subnet mask 0.0.0.0, and the exit interface is serial 0/1/0. Okay, that's the interface. Press enter. Okay, so I created a default route to the internet. Okay, now let's see what is next. Now implement NAT, network address translation. Configure a standard one statement ACL, access control list number 1. All IP addresses belonging to this 10.10.10.0.0.0 address space are allowed. I'm going to permit, so I'm going to create an access control list. Its number should be 1, and I'm going to permit all the traffic 10.0.0.0 with 8-bit mask, entire space, all the class A addresses. I'm going to allow them. So let me do that. I'm going to type access list. Okay, 1 permit who 10.0.0.0, and what is the wildcard mask? This 8-bit subnet mask should be 255.0.0.0. So its wildcard mask should be the opposite to it. I'm going to type the wildcard mask should be 0.0.0.255. Okay, no, not correct. 255. So this one should be 255.0.0. The 3 zeros. So here I'm going to type 3 1 0 and 3 255s. So 0.255.255.255. Okay, that is the opposite to the subnet mask. Subnet mask is 255.0.0.0. Okay, so all the 0 here becomes 255s, and the 255 becomes 0. That's the wildcard mask. When I create access control list, I use a wildcard mask. Okay, and if anybody is again confused, so here my subnet mask was with 8-bit /8 equals to what? That should be 255.0.0.0. So wildcard mask should be the opposite. Okay, wildcard mask should be, then this 255 will become 0. So 0 dot, so make the same size all of it. Okay, 0.255.255.255. That's the wildcard mask, exactly the opposite to the subnet mask. Okay, so that is again needed when we create the access control list. So I'm going to go there, bring back those windows. Okay, so I am in the router, so that's my wildcard mask, and press enter. Okay, access control list has been created. So here I am, this line. Now refer to your documentation and configure a static NAT for the file server. So I'll let the access list sit there. Now they're asking me to create a static NAT, static network address translation for the file server. So let's look at what the file server is. Here is my file server. A file server will be using NAT because it has a private IP address 10.10.10, that, and an outside address, meaning a public IP address 192.198.130. Yeah, that's public IP. So I'm going to add a static statement for this one server only. Okay, one-to-one mapping exactly from this private to this public. So let's do that. That's going to be static NAT. I'm going to type IP NAT inside source static. Okay, that's my whole command. IP NAT inside source static. Now what is my private IP? Private IP is 10.10.10.162. 10.10.10.162. What is my public IP? Public IP is 198.133. 198.133.219.130. Okay, that, and it's gonna probably ask me for a net mask. Okay, this one did not ask for the net mask. I'm going to press space and do the question mark. Okay, just I have to press enter. That's all I have to do. So IP NAT inside source static, then the private IP, and then the public IP. Once I type that, let's press enter. That's a static NAT is done. Now let's see what is the next thing they're asking us to do. Configure dynamic NAT with PAT using a pool name of your choice, a 30-bit mask, and these two public addresses. Okay, so I'm going to create a pool. Okay, create a pool of public IP addresses that will be assigned to all these private addresses, all these 10.0.0.0, all the computers that I have. When they go out, they are going to get just these two public IP addresses. So I need to create a pool for these two. Okay, and I'm going to configure a pool of addresses for the dynamic NAT with a 30-bit mask. Okay, let's do that. IP NAT pool, POOL, and then it says the pool using a pool name of your choice. So whatever I name it, doesn't matter. So I'm going to type pool 1. How about that? Pool name would be, so I'm going to do capital POOL 1. 1. That's my name of the pool. Okay, and then question mark. So start IP address. So after the pool name, so what I did, IP NAT pool, then the name of the pool I created is pool 1. Then what is my starting first IP? These are the two IPs that I have. Begins with 128, goes to 129. So only these two. So I'm gonna copy 1 from here, Control C, and go here. As only I have to click, I only can click the mouse, paste. Okay, now that's the start IP. What is the end IP? End IP, I'm going to paste again, but I'm going to change this one 129. So start IP is 128, end IP is 129. Okay, and then the net mask, space NET, net mask should be 30. Net mask is 30. 30-bit net mask is 252. So I'm gonna have to type 252. That's gonna be 255.255.255 Wow, I need to even expand more, otherwise it's going to go to the next line. That's not going to look good. Okay, dot 252. Okay, that much. So here I have to do IP NAT pool, then name of the pool I gave pool 1, start IP, the last IP, and then net mask of 30 bit. 30 bit net mask means 252. Enter. Okay, done. So I created the pool. Now it says that bind the NAT pool to ACL1 to configure the PAT. Okay, packet tracer does not grade this command. Okay, no, but we must do that. So bind the NAT pool to ACL1. So I created the pool. The name of the pool is pool 1. Okay, and what is the ACL I created? I created ACL, that was ACL1 right here, access list 1. So I'm going to connect those two, access list 1 to the pool 1. So I'm going to type IP NAT inside source. This time, see, last time I did like IP NAT inside source is static. This time instead of static, I'm going to type list, L, list. What is the name of the list? List is list number 1. So 1. And then pool. What is the name of the pool? Pool 1. So capital POOL 1. Okay. So, but then one more word I have to use, that is overload. OVERLOAD, overload. With that, this one word, overload, will enable the NAT translation for many hundreds or even thousands of computers to use only these two IP addresses. They can all have the same IP address. Okay, that's how I configure the PAT, port address translation, with this overload command. So if I did not use this overload command, then only two computers could go to the internet with private IP and these two public IPs. But in here, hundreds or thousands of computers can. Enter. Okay. Now, activate NAT on all appropriate interfaces. So I need to activate NAT on, I configured the NAT, but I have not added the NAT to the interfaces yet. So let's see which interfaces I need to add the NAT. Which side goes to the internet? Right here. That's serial 010. Serial 010, that's the one goes to the internet. That should be outside. That's when you need the outside address. So on the serial 010, on that interface, I'm going to type IP NAT outside, and then gigabit 00, all these sub interfaces, they need to be IP NAT inside. This serial 000 and serial 001, those interfaces, they should be IP NAT inside. So only one that is outside is this one. So let me configure that. I'm gonna go here and see the HQ. Serial 010, that's the one takes the public IP, that's the one that's internet. I'm going to make that one as IP NAT outside. So I'm going to type here interface serial 0/1/0. That should be IP NAT outside. Okay, and then exit. What other interface? All these sub interfaces. Let's do all these interfaces. All of them have to be IP NAT inside from this router. So .15, .30, .45, .6. Let's do that. I'm going to type interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0.15. That one IP NAT inside. Okay, then exit. Interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0.30 IP NAT inside. Okay, then exit. Interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0.45 IP NAT inside, and then 60 interface. Oh, I'm gonna go exit interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0.60 IP NAT inside. Then I'm gonna type exit interface. Now let's do the serial interface. Serial interface would be 0/0/1 000 first. I'm gonna go. I see here 000 and 001. I could do it any order, that doesn't matter, but I'm gonna go for the 000 first, and IP NAT inside, then exit interface serial 0/0/1, enter IP NAT inside. Okay, so all of those appropriate interfaces for either inside or outside, everything is inside, only one that is outside, that was serial 010 that connects to the internet. Only this one was outside, IP NAT outside. All other interfaces right here, all of them in this table, from this table, all others would be IP NAT inside. So I go one by one interface and I type IP NAT inside. Okay. Okay, now that is done. Let's see what else. Activate the net. I have done that too. Now staff. On the staff is a computer. In that computer, verify staff has received full addressing information from HQ. So remember, on the HQ, I configured the DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, so that it can give IP addresses to all my computers. So I'm going to go and check this computer staff now receiving IP address automatically from the router or not. I have to verify that. So I'm going to go to the staff. Okay, staff. Click on desktop, IP configuration. Here I am. I see that it is set to be configured manually. Okay, manual IP configuration is set static. So I'm going to click on the DHCP to receive automatically. Requesting IP address. DHCP request successful. Okay, I can see the IP address is received, subnet mask, default gateway, all those things are received. Good, has been successful. Once we do that, now let's see how many points I have. Now I have 70/70. All the points that was necessary, I have that. Verification. All devices should now be able to ping all other devices. If not, troubleshoot your configuration to isolate the solved problem. A few tests include verify remote access to HQ switch using SSH from a PC, verify VLANs and assign the appropriate ports. I'm not going to do all of those. I'm going to just do the ping and that's it. I'll end with, I got the whole point 70/70. That's good enough. So from this staff, I'm going to ping the web server. Let me see if that works. Okay. Staff computer, command prompt, ping, and that should be 64.100.150.10. Okay, first time timed out, but then I got all the reply. So we're all good to go. We got all the points. So be sure to save this lab and submit it. This was our last lab. So we don't have any more labs. Then I'm gonna send email to you, let you know when I'm gonna go over the skills exam and your final exam. So that's what I'm gonna be talking about in the coming few days. And after our skills exam and finals exam done, we are done with the course. So let me myself save this one for right now. Okay, already been there, done that. So hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon again. in one of these days, in this weekend possibly, but you're going to hear from me. I'm going to reach out to you by emails, okay? So I'll catch you again soon.